Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about why I try to control the triggers for migraines that I can so that I can better handle the triggers that I can't control. So before I get into any more details, time for the intro. As I've made aware for a lot of my other videos when I've talked about what can cause migraines for me, the list is quite long and there are many different types of triggers that can result in a migraine. For example, poor sleep, weather changes such as barometric pressure changes or just changes in temperature, stress. This part of things that I can't control, for example, the changes in weather when I get my period, I manage those triggers a little bit easier by taking control of the things that I can actually control. This is one of the reasons why I stress the importance of routines in my videos, why I go to bed when I do, why I get up when I do, why I'm so strict with having a meditation practice and managing my stress. Now, this actually gets into a particular theory that I was just made aware of by one of my friends who is in another group actually, and they also deal with migraines, and they brought this to my attention actually, and it's called the bucket theory. You have a bunch of different triggers, and when you put them all together at once, it leads to filling of a bucket. Once you have overflowed that bucket, it brings on a migraine attack essentially. Different triggers can fill up the bucket a certain amount that is independent too, but it's the accumulation of everything that determines whether you get a migraine in this particular theory. It doesn't ever seem like it's just one thing that sets it off. I would say maybe the one exception to that is when I do have my periods, but the thing is that even when that's going on, I don't think it's the only thing that's happening. I just think that as the theory describes, sometimes your bucket is a little bit more full at certain times than others. So let's say you have your period and there's a storm coming through. Well, your bucket is going to be that much fuller than, let's say, when the weather is really stable and you're not on your period. So you're able to take a little bit more of some of those other triggers before your bucket overflows. And so I think it's just a matter of when you are dealing with some of these other triggers that are really, really quite filling up the bucket, you can just take and tolerate a little bit less of those other triggers. I honestly think too that this bucket theory is really handy because it explains why it doesn't take much at some points of the month than compared to others as to why you get a migraine so much easier at certain times of the month compared to others. And I think it just helps explain that it's not just one thing that can lead to a migraine, but it's a bunch of different things piling on at once that can basically cause that bucket to overflow. I know too, also when it comes to me, that certain things definitely are a bigger factor when it comes to determining whether I'll get a migraine. Almost guaranteed I'll have migraines during my periods, as I've said that multiple times. If I'm under a lot of stress, it is a lot easier to have trouble overall in general with even IIH as well as migraine. You can definitely tell that all of these different triggers are definitely a different amount and contribute differently. And to be honest, there are sometimes I think too where depending on what's going on in your life, these triggers can contribute more to a migraine at other times than they do it when everything seems to be going okay. So an example I would give for this is So like when you're under a lot of stress, it seems like it doesn't take much to trigger some of these migraines. But let's say that you're pretty relaxed, it can actually take quite a bit before you end up experiencing a migraine. At least that's what I've found. I think the biggest takeaway from this, though, is that the reason why I'm likely to say no to doing certain things at certain times is because I am managing the things I can control, so I can prepare for those things that I can't. This is why it's really important for me to stick to my sleep schedule, to not overdo it on the amount of energy that I'm giving up in a day. Sometimes it means having to say no when I don't want to say no, but ultimately it is better for me, because if I get into that cycle of migraines or IIH headaches, I'm more likely to be out for a longer period of time where I'm not able to do anything because I've gotten stuck in a really bad cycle again. If you're enjoying my content, please feel free to subscribe. Remember that it's completely free. It just allows us to reach more people with IIH and migraines. When you're subscribing, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss any of my upcoming future content. If you enjoyed this particular video, be sure to give it a like. If you're watching this on Facebook or Instagram, be sure to like and follow. And as for now, that's it for today. Bye everyone.